Hello, my dear butchos, and welcome back. I know, exams are just around the corner, and sometimes this measurement chapter can feel a little tricky. But don't you worry one bit. In the next few minutes, we're going to make this whole chapter super easy for you. By the end, you'll be a measurement pro. So are you ready? Let's begin.
Okay, just think about this for a second. How would you measure a teeny tiny ant crawling on your book? And then, what about the huge, long distance to your nanny's house in another city? You can't use the same scale for both, can you? No way. And that, my friends, is exactly what this chapter is all about. It's about picking the right unit for the right job, whether it's for something really small or something really far away.
All right, first things first, let's start with the small stuff. I mean the really small stuff. We're going to zoom right in, like a magnifying glass, and explore how to measure all the tiny things around us.
Just look around you right now. Seriously, look. You'll see so many small things. Maybe a little plant sprout on the windowsill, or a tiny screw on your desk, or even just the tip of your own nail. Now, to measure these things properly, we need a unit that is just as tiny, right?
And that tiny unit is the millimeter. We write it as mm. Now, if you have a ruler nearby, grab it. Look really closely at it. You see those tiny little lines between the numbers? Yep, those are millimeters. And here's the most important thing to remember. 10 of these tiny millimeters, they team up to make just 1 centimeter. So 10 mm equals 1 cm. Simple. Okay, ready for a quick brain teaser? Let's practice. So if I draw a line that is 36 millimeters long, how can we write that in centimeters and millimeters? Let's think. We know 10 millimeters is 1 centimeter, right? So 30 millimeters would be 3 centimeters. And what's left? We have 6 millimeters left over. So put it all together, 36 millimeters is simply 3 centimeters and 6 millimeters. See? Super easy. Fantastic job. We've totally nailed the tiny units. So now let's zoom out. Whoosh! We're moving from the tiny world to the bigger things we see every day. You know, like the size of your room or how tall a building is.
And for these bigger things, we have the meter. We write it as m. I'm sure you've heard your parents talk about meters, right? Like when they go to the shop to buy cloth for a kurta, or when someone is measuring a room. A meter is way bigger than a centimeter. Just how big? Well, 1 single meter is equal to 100 centimeters. Imagine that, 100 of your little finger width centimeters all lined up to make 1 meter.
And to really get a feel for how big a meter is, check this out. Here are some of the world's tallest statues. And look who's at the top. Our very own Statue of Unity in India. It's a massive 182 meters tall. Can you even imagine that? That's as tall as a huge skyscraper. So you see, meters are just perfect for measuring these giant, amazing structures.
Okay, let's actually see that difference. Here's our Statue of Unity at 182 meters, and here's the famous Statue of Liberty from the USA, which is 93 meters. Wow! You can really see how much taller ours is. Now, here's a quick challenge for all my smart students. Can you tell me the exact difference in their heights? Go on, pause for a second and try to figure it out.
Did you get it? The answer is 89 meters. If you got that right, give yourself a pat on the back. Well done. Our Statue of Unity is a whole 89 meters taller. That is a massive difference.
All right, my brilliant students. So, we've measured the small stuff and the big stuff. What's next? Well, now it's time to measure the really far stuff. We're about to go on a very long journey with our next unit, so you might want to pack your imaginary bags. So, for these super long distances, like when you travel from your city to another city for a holiday, we use the kilometer. We write it as km. Now here is a little secret tip to remember this forever. The word kilo, it actually just means 1,000. That's it. So 1 kilometer is just 1,000 meters. How easy is that to remember? And what's the best way to imagine kilometers? Well, let's talk about India's longest train journey. The Vivek Express travels an absolutely mind-boggling 4,187 kilometers from Dibrugarh all the way to Kanyakumari. Wow! I bet some of you have seen those amazing travel vlogs on YouTube about this epic trip. It's just so long.
Okay, let's try a little problem based on this journey. Imagine, from the start point, the total distance to a station called Vijayawada is 2,800 kilometers. But the train has already traveled 556 kilometers to reach Guwahati.
So the question is, how much further does it have to go to reach Vijayawada? What do? Simple subtraction. 2,800 minus 556, and that gives us 2,244 kilometers. And you know what? This is exactly the kind of maths we're going to master next.
Okay, now we've come to a section that is super important for your exams, the calculations. But hey, don't get nervous, not at all. I'm going to show you some simple tricks. Think of it as a little bit of maths magic, and soon, adding and subtracting all these lengths will be an absolute piece of cake for you.
So, how do we add lengths like these? Let's take it step by step. First, just add the meters. So 450 plus 650, that equals 1,100 meters. Got it? Good. Next, add the kilometers. 3 plus 4, that's 7 kilometers. Easy. But wait, look at the meters. 1,100, that's more than 1,000, which means it's more than a kilometer. So this is the magic step. We convert it. 1,100 meters is actually 1 kilometer and 100 meters. Now for the final step. Combine everything. We had 7 kilometers, and now we have one more. So that's 8 kilometers and 100 meters left over. Our final answer, 8 kilometers and 100 meters. See? Just follow the steps.
All right, now for subtraction. Imagine this. We have a big roll of cable, 63 meters long, and we use up 16 meters and 75 centimeters of it. The trick here is that we have 63 meters and 0 centimeters, and we can't take 75 away from 0, can we? So what do? We borrow, just like in normal subtraction. We'll borrow 1 meter from the 63 meters. So now we have 62 meters, and that 1 meter we borrowed, how many centimeters is that? 100 centimeters. Perfect. Now it's easy. 100 centimeters minus 75 centimeters is 25 centimeters. And 62 meters minus 16 meters is 46 meters. So our answer is 46 meters and 25 centimeters.
Okay, time for a classic word problem. You'll definitely see these in your exam. A road is being built. It's 12 kilometers and 600 meters long, and it takes them 6 days to build it. If they build the same amount every single day, how much road do they lay in just 1 day? This sounds like, yep, a division problem. Let's solve this together.
Now here is the golden rule, the #1 pro tip for making problems like this super easy. Before you divide, convert everything into the smallest unit. So what's our smallest unit here? Meters. We change 12 kilometers into 12,000 meters, then we just add the 600 meters we already had. So our total length is 12,600 meters. See how much cleaner that looks? Now our calculation is going to be so much simpler.
Okay, so now all we have to do is divide that big number by 6. So 12,600 meters divided by 6 days gives us 2,100 meters per day. That's the answer. And if you want to be extra smart and write it perfectly, we can convert it back. 2,100 meters is just 2 kilometers and 100 meters. And that's our final answer. Fantastic work.
And just like that, we're done. We've traveled all the way from tiny millimeters to huge kilometers, and we even defeated all those tricky calculations. You, my friend, have just unlocked your measurement superpower.
Look, everything we learned today boils down to this one magic chart. This is the key. If you just remember these 3 simple rules, I promise you, you can solve any measurement problem that comes in your exam. It's all about 10, 100, and 1,000. 10 millimeters make a centimeter. 100 centimeters make a meter. And 1,000 meters make a kilometer. Please, please, please take a screenshot of this or write it down. It's that important.
So there you have it. You are now fully equipped to measure anything in the world, from the smallest ladybug to the longest road in India. I'll leave you with this one thought. What's the first awesome thing you're going to measure with your new superpower? All the very best for your exams, Beta. Study well, but please don't take too much stress. And remember, if you ever feel stuck, you can always come back and watch this again. You are going to do great. You've got this.